Welcome to One Goal English Podcast. Your journey to fluent English starts here.
Welcome to One Goal English. Today we are doing a deep dive into something really crucial, the art of the job interview.
Oh, yeah. Such an important topic.
It really is. But specifically, we're looking at the unique psychological and, linguistic challenge of interviewing in a second language.
Right, because it's a completely different experience.
Exactly. So for you, our listener, we are synthesizing some top-tier communication strategies today. Cognitive frameworks, linguistic techniques, all to help you master this specific environment. Because it's a uniquely frustrating phenomenon, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can be highly skilled, right? You know your industry inside and out. You navigate complex problems every single day.
Yeah, but then the moment you walk into a job interview and it's conducted in English, you experience this sudden cognitive bottleneck.
That is the perfect word for it, a bottleneck. Because you know the exact strategies you want to convey.
Right. But the dual process of formulating a high-level professional answer while simultaneously translating into a second language, it makes you feel like you're trying to run underwater.
Yes. It is a massive cognitive load. I mean, you're essentially asking your brain to perform two highly demanding tasks at once.
Executive level strategy and real-time linguistic translation.
Exactly. And what happens is that professionals who possess immense technical expertise suddenly feel stripped of their authority.
Which is so unfair.
It is. The language barrier creates this false impression to the interviewer and honestly to the candidate themselves that they are somehow less capable.
But, and this is the realization we really want to anchor this entire conversation on, interviewers at top organizations, they are not evaluating your ability to speak perfect textbook English.
No, not at all. They want to see communication skills, they want professionalism and problem solving.
Right. A small grammar mistake, like a conjugated verb that slips out of place, it won't ruin your chances. It's entirely irrelevant if the underlying structure of your idea is clear.
Exactly. Clarity over perfection, always.
So if you're listening to this right now, I want you to just take a deep breath. Seriously, confidence and clarity are so much more important than being flawless.
That distinction between flawless grammar and structural clarity, I mean, it changes the entire objective.
It really does. The goal isn't to be a native speaker. The goal is to be a highly effective communicator.
Right. And, achieving that doesn't just magically happen in the interview room. It starts way before that.
Which brings us to our first major step, preparation, or as I like to call it, cognitive offloading.
And I love that term, cognitive offloading.
Yeah, because if you deeply research a company's mission, their culture, their current market challenges, you aren't searching for the right ideas and the right English words at the same time during the interview.
Right. The ideas are already preloaded.
Exactly. So let's talk about that pre-interview groundwork, researching the company and preparing your environment.
Well, when you understand a company's DNA, your vocabulary naturally shifts. You stop using generic phrases and start using highly specific, resonant language.
Give me an example. What's a weak answer versus a strong one?
Sure. So a weak answer is just saying, I want this job because it's a great company.
Right. Very generic.
But a strong one, you might say, well, I want to work here because your company focuses on innovation, and my background in agile supply chains aligns perfectly with that trajectory.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is so much better. You are offloading the stress of invention because you already know how your puzzle piece fits into their specific puzzle.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a first date. I mean, you wouldn't show up to a first date without knowing anything about the other person, right?
I mean, I hope not.
Right. You'd want to know a little bit about them to have a good conversation. It's the same here. But we also have to talk about the physical setup, right? Because so many interviews are online now.
Yes, digital body language is huge.
We used to just tell people, dress professionally, check your microphone. But for a premium professional, this is really about establishing digital executive presence.
That is such a key concept. The framing of your camera, your lighting, your posture, these aren't just technical checkboxes.
No, they're nonverbal trust markers.
Right. When your camera is perfectly at eye level and your audio is crisp, you establish authority before you even use any English vocabulary.
You are basically signaling to their brain, I am a peer,
Mm.
which makes them way more receptive to your spoken words. You should sit up straight, smile, nod while they speak.
It creates this halo effect. If the visual and technical presentation is flawless, they subconsciously think your spoken answers are better too. It just smooths over any minor linguistic bumps.
Okay, let's put this into active practice. To our listener, we want you to actively engage with us. I want you to pause the audio for just a moment. Think of a company you would love to work for.
And we want you to say one complete sentence out loud about why you like that company's values.
Exactly. Don't just think it in your head. Say it aloud. We will be right here when you get back.
Vocalizing is so critical. It really builds those physical neural pathways you need for spontaneous speech.
Right. It moves the language from passive understanding to active use. Okay, so you've done your research. Your tech is perfect. You look great. The interview begins. How do you start off on the right foot?
Well, first impressions matter, obviously.
Yeah, so let's talk about professional greetings, because you definitely want to avoid casual phrases.
Right. Do not walk in or log on and say, hey guys, or what's up.
Please don't. Keep it professional. Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
Yeah.
Simple, elegant, respectful.
Exactly. And then inevitably, they are going to ask the question that makes everyone nervous.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Tell me about yourself.
It's the most common interview question in the world, and yet it terrifies people. Why is that?
Well, because it feels so open-ended. But, interviewers do not want your life story. No. They are basically testing your ability to prioritize information. Can you filter out the noise and present a relevant professional narrative?
Which is really dangerous in a second language, because without a structure, your brain will just try to chronologically recite your resume.
And that takes a huge amount of linguistic bandwidth that usually just turns into rambling.
So we need a framework. And the absolute best one for this is the present, past, future framework.
It is so simple but highly effective.
I view it like a map. You hand this map to the interviewer so they don't get lost in your history.
Right. So, present. What are you doing right now? What is your current professional identity?
Then past. What specific experience brought you to this point? Just the relevant historical data.
And finally, future. Why are you interested in this specific position? How does your trajectory link to their company?
Let's actually act this out. Let's give our listeners some real-life conversation examples. Let's start with Elena. She's a recent university graduate from Romania.
Okay, so if I'm Elena, I would start with the present. I'd say, currently I am a recent finance graduate with a strong focus on data analysis.
Nice and clear. Now the past.
Right. During my studies, I completed a 6-month internship at a regional bank where my main responsibility was assisting the risk assessment team and improving their reporting efficiency.
Oh, I like that vocabulary. Responsibility. It shows ownership. Okay, now bring it to the future.
I would say now, I am looking to bring this analytical experience to a forward-thinking company like yours, where I can contribute to larger financial strategy projects.
That is a perfect answer. Present, past, future. But what if you aren't a recent grad?
Yeah.
What if you are, say, making a career change? That's famously difficult to articulate in English.
It is. Let's look at May. She is a professional moving from retail management into digital marketing.
Okay, so a weak approach here would be to apologize for her retail background, right? Or just list a bunch of retail tasks that don't matter to a marketing firm.
Exactly. Instead, May needs to focus on transferable skills. So for her present and past, she says, for the last 4 years, I have worked in retail management, where I developed strong operational leadership and learned how to be highly adaptable in fast-paced environments.
Notice that word adaptable. That's such a great piece of professional vocabulary. She didn't say, I stock shelves. She elevated it.
Right. She focuses on the experience of managing people and adapting to problems.
And then for the future.
She says, recently, I have transitioned my focus to digital marketing, completing several certifications. I am excited about this role because it allows me to combine my management background with my new digital skills to drive brand growth.
She doesn't apologize at all. She just focuses on what she can bring.
Exactly. She builds a bridge between her past and the company's future.
All right, time for another speaking practice. Listener, I want you to pause the podcast again. We want you to answer, tell me about yourself out loud for 1 to 2 minutes.
Remember to use the present, past, future structure. Curate your history. Go ahead and pause now.
Okay, moving forward. So you've introduced yourself, you've set the stage. The interviewer will now want to know exactly what you can do.
Yes, it is time to talk about your work experience. Show, don't tell.
Right. Discussing achievements and answering those tricky behavioral questions.
The biggest mistake here is just listing tasks, like saying, I answered emails or I went to meetings.
Right. That just describes anyone in an office.
You have to explain your impact, your achievements, and to do that in English, you need strong action verbs.
Yes. Words like manage, coordinate, improve, collaborate.
Exactly. Instead of saying, I was part of a team that made a new software, you say, I collaborated with the engineering team to improve our software delivery time.
That sounds so much more professional. But what about those specific behavioral questions? You know, the ones that start with, tell me about a time when you...
Yes. For those, you absolutely must use the STAR method.
STAR. Situation, task, action, result. Why is this method so universally loved by corporate recruiters?
Because it keeps your answers logical and easy to follow. Human cognition loves a narrative arc. Situation and task set the scene. Action is what you did, and result is the satisfying conclusion.
It prevents you from getting lost in the details, which is so easy to do when you're speaking a second language.
Exactly.
Let me push back on this a little bit, though. What if they ask about a mistake or a weakness? I hear people say you should just disguise a strength as a weakness, like I work too hard or I'm just a perfectionist.
Oh, please, no. Interviewers hate those cliche answers. They see right through them.
So what should you do?
You need to share a real weakness. But, and this is the key, you explain what you were actively doing to improve it.
Okay, so maybe something like, I sometimes struggle with public speaking, but I've started volunteering to lead our weekly team meetings so I can get more comfortable with it.
Yes, exactly. That shows self-awareness. It shows metacognition.
Let's do a quick mock dialogue. Let's take Sophia. She is asked about a time things went wrong.
Okay, I'll be the interviewer. Sophia, tell me about a time a project failed or faced a major obstacle.
And as Sophia, using the STAR method, I'd say, well, during our last product launch, a key team member got severely sick right before the major presentation. That's the situation and task.
Right, very objective, no drama.
Then the action. I stepped in, coordinated with the remaining team members to reallocate his tasks, and personally finalized the presentation data.
Great action verbs. Coordinated, reallocated, finalized.
As a result, we were able to deliver the presentation on time and actually secure the client contract. From that experience, I learned the importance of always having a backup plan for critical roles.
That is a brilliant answer. She didn't blame the sick team member. She just explained the problem and how she fixed it.
Listener, it's your turn. I'm going to ask you an open-ended question, and I want you to answer it out loud using complete sentences. Tell me about a professional mistake you made and what you learned from it. Remember, do not blame others. Focus on the action and the result. Pause and practice now.
It's all about showing maturity and growth.
Definitely. Okay, so now we enter the final phase of the interview. You've proven you can do the work, but are you a good person to work with?
Cultural fit, teamwork.
Exactly. Handling conflict, discussing future goals, and asking your own questions. How do you talk about workplace conflict in a second language without sounding, aggressive or defensive?
It is all about how you frame the pressure. The key is showing that you don't panic or argue. You communicate and find compromises.
Right. And linguistically, this means shifting your pronouns. When there's a conflict, don't say, I argued with my boss because he was wrong.
No, you shift from I and you framing to we and the process framing.
So instead, you say, we had different priorities regarding the timeline, so I suggested we review the project goals together to find a compromise.
It takes all the personal emotion out of it. It shows you are proactive and detail-oriented.
Speaking of vocabulary, those are great words. Detail-oriented, results-driven.
Yes, using those descriptors naturally makes you sound like a seasoned professional.
Now, what about the ultimate question? Why should we hire you? I always think of this as your movie trailer moment.
That's a fun way to look at it.
It's your chance to summarize all your best highlights.
Yeah.
Your technical knowledge plus your communication skills.
Right. But you know what actually catches people off guard even more than that question?
Flipping the script at the end.
Yes. When the interviewer says, "Do you have any questions for us?"
Oh, this is a trap for so many non-native speakers because by this point, you are experiencing cognitive fatigue. Your brain is tired from speaking English for an hour.
And you just want to escape the room, so you say, "No, I think you covered everything."
Which you must never ever do. Never say no.
It signals a total lack of curiosity. This is your chance to interview them.
Exactly. It shifts the power dynamic. Good questions include asking about, a typical day in the role or the company culture.
Or asking about opportunities for professional development, like what does success look like for this position in the first 6 months?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. It forces them to visualize you being successful in the job.
Let's do another practice prompt for our listener. A really common, tricky question is about the future. So listener, practice answering this out loud. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
And as you pause to answer that, remember, a strong answer focuses on continuous learning and taking on new responsibilities, not just demanding a specific job title like CEO. Go ahead and try it.
Perfect. It's all about showing ambition, but staying grounded in reality.
All right, we're nearing the end of our deep dive. Let's briefly review the most important ideas we've discussed today.
First, preparation is your ultimate source of confidence. Researching the company offloads that cognitive stress.
Right. Second, clarity is better than perfection. Don't obsess over tiny grammar mistakes.
Third, use frameworks. The present, past, future structure keeps your introduction organized.
And the STAR method keeps your behavioral stories logical and impactful.
Exactly. And honestly, consistent daily practice is how this confidence is built. Even just 10 minutes a day of speaking out loud to a recorder can make a massive difference.
Which is why we have a final motivating speaking challenge. We want you to pretend you are in your absolute dream interview.
And we want you to answer the question, why should we hire you?
Speak for 1 full minute without stopping. Speak clearly, use strong action verbs, and give a real example of your value.
It might feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort means you're growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final, incredibly provocative thought. Something to explore on your own.
Oh, I know what this is. It's so interesting.
We've spent this whole time treating interviewing in a second language like a hurdle. But psychological studies have identified something called the foreign language effect.
Yes.
The research shows that when you operate, reason, and make decisions in a second language, you actually make more rational, less emotionally biased decisions.
Because the extra cognitive effort creates an emotional distance.
Exactly. It strips away cognitive biases. So the very thing you thought was your greatest weakness, speaking in English, might actually be forcing your brain to be the most logical, analytical thinker in the room.
You aren't at a disadvantage. You actually have an enhanced cognitive filter.
So embrace it. Keep practicing, keep growing, and remember, every great career begins with one confident conversation.
Good luck out there.
Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time on One Goal English.